welcome to week 3, part 2. In part 2, we're going to be discussing actually what our week is about. So we're going to be talking about English academic basics. In this case, we're focusing, excuse me, on writing. So I'm going to start with some basic words. So I'm looking now at slide 16. And what the purpose of this is, is to make you comfortable with words, vocabulary that you will be teaching to your students in the future, but also for yourself how to learn to express yourself better and in a more organized manner. So the first thing I want to talk about is to discuss some words and make sure that you're comfortable using those words, because we will be using these words pretty much throughout the semester. So you should be very comfortable with all of these words. So if you do not know the words already, or you're not sure even, then I'd like you please to pause the video and take a look at what the following words are in Korean, or to make sure that you have a clear understanding of what the words are. So the first word is title, the second word is sentence, the third word is paragraph, the fourth is indent, and the fifth is period. Now many of these words have more than one meaning, so make sure that you understand what our focus is when we're dealing with writing. Also, I would like you to know the word W-O-R-D, and I would like you to know also the word letter, L-E-T-T-E-R, in reference to the alphabet. So I'm going to move on now, and we're going to move on to slide 17, which is titled Ice Cream for Ice Cream. So this is a kind of maybe bad English joke, but the point is that people enjoy ice cream. So I chose this as our topic because I hope you like it. So we're going to talk about ice cream sundaes and how to make them. But the first and most important point, of course, is that it's pronounced Sunday, even though the spelling's different, not Sunday. So it is not, we need to make sure we understand which type of food we're talking about. So please make sure you're pronouncing it correctly. So our big question for today is, how do we make a sundae? So what we're going to do is, I'm going to move on now to slide 18. And we're going to read the paragraph. So if you would like some time to read the paragraph by yourself and make sure you're clear, please pause the video here, and we'll continue in a minute. Okay, so we're going to move on, and I'm going to discuss the parts of a paragraph, and we're going to read through it together. So the first thing I'd like to point out is the title. So the title is The Perfect Ice Cream Sundae. I would like you to notice that the title is in the center, because this brings attention to it to show that it is important, and also that we use capital letters for each of the main words in the title. Another point is that we should always use 5 words or less, because a title should be straightforward. It's not a sentence. We want to communicate what the topic is and what our feeling is about that topic. So if you notice, we don't just say ice cream sundae, or ice cream sundaes, which is our topic, but we talk about the perfect ice cream sundae. So by choosing the word perfect, we're adding a connotation, a feeling, an emotion about what our topic is going to be. So this gives a positive impression. We're going to talk about something that we enjoy, that we like, which means that the paragraph should also be positive throughout. Now, if you look at the starting of the paragraph, you'll see that there's a little space. This little space is called an indent, and it just shows that we're going to begin a paragraph. Now, the point of an indent is actually, it's a global writing technique, and we can see it in any book. If you take a look, you can see it in newspapers when people are reading. It just shows we're starting on a new part of a topic, or new topics generally. So I've got some examples here, we can see it. So the first 2 examples are in English, but this is also true for Korean. So if you want to take a look through, you can do it. It's not just with regular books, it's with newspapers, it's with all types of academic writing. So an indent shows you're starting. Now the next thing is I would like to read through the paragraph. I would also like to suggest strongly that whenever you're reading the PowerPoints that you read them out loud, because reading out loud in English, in any language actually, helps you to have a smoother sound, and it also gives you confidence because you start to feel less critical of yourself, I guess. So let's read it together. The perfect ice cream sundae. Ice cream sundaes are delicious. There are so many different ingredients that can be used to make the perfect ice cream sundae. It is always best to start with 3 different ice cream flavors. Some favorite flavors are chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. Next, sauces can be added. Ice cream connoisseurs may enjoy strawberry sauce on strawberry ice cream, chocolate sauce on chocolate ice cream, and marshmallow fluff on vanilla ice cream. As a final touch, add toppings. Chopped nuts and colorful sprinkles are a good combination. Before serving, do not forget to chop with a cherry. Enjoy! So, in this case, we can see that there are different steps that have been added. Now, in this case, I showed how to make a sundae, but actually these steps are important because we can use them to talk about anything we want to. It's just one way to organize how you speak and how you write. So essentially the principle for what I'm teaching in this course is that if you write well, you will speak well. And it helps you, what I'd like to do is teach you the writing techniques so that it helps you when you're speaking. It helps you to organize your thoughts very quickly and to give a very good interview or a very good presentation. So let's take a look at the different parts of the paragraph and what we're talking about. Now, for some of you, perhaps there are some vocabulary words in here that might be a little confusing. So if there's any words you're not sure of, you're very welcome to pause the video and go look in a dictionary or look it up on your phone, that's fine. One of the words that might be an issue might be connoisseurs. A connoisseur is an expert in food, a particular food. So if you're an ice cream connoisseur, it means you're an ice cream expert. Another word that might be unusual might be fluff, marshmallow fluff. Marshmallow fluff is a special type of topping, sauce, I guess, which you take out of a jar, and basically it's like liquid marshmallow. Another one is perhaps sprinkles. Sprinkles, you can see if you look in the slide in the left-hand picture, the picture of the sundae, which has 3 cherries on the top. If you look right below the cherries, we have some colorful sprinkles. And we can see these on, I believe, they're usually called Hawaiian donuts as well. So if you go into a donut shop, you can see sprinkles on top. So I'm going to move on to slide 19 now. And my question to start with is, can you see a pattern? Can you see the pattern that is in the paragraph that we just wrote? Because this is a paragraph that's really, really useful for both writing and speaking in any language. This is really good for anyone who is studying at university level or higher. Traditionally, this is taught starting in elementary school, so I encourage you to start using these types of techniques when you're teaching your students. For example, we have at the beginning, because you're university students, I'm starting with a 10-sentence paragraph, but of course for elementary school we would reduce that number. So usually you would start with sentences first, and then you would move up to 5-sentence paragraphs. But for your level, because you're higher level, we're moving to 10 sentences right away. And I know you can do it. You're all very intelligent. I've read all your homework. So we're moving to 10 sentences. So anyways, what we're going to be doing to start with is we're going to be looking at the first sentence is going to state what your topic is, okay? So for example, in this case, if we look at the paragraph, our first sentence is ice cream sundaes are delicious. So what is our topic? ice cream sundaes. And why are we talking about them? Because they're delicious. So we're giving another point about that we have a positive view of this topic. So the second sentence is up to you. You usually want to keep it general as well and attached to the topic. So in the case of the paragraph that I'm using as an example, we have ingredients. Okay, so we've talked about the sundaes, we're moving to the different ingredients. Now, the next thing we're going to do is move to the meat of the paragraph. So in this case, you choose 3 different details, reasons, or examples of what you want to talk about. So in the case of our paragraph, can you find what the first detail is? So the first detail, if you take a look, is ice cream flavors. And then we follow up with one sentence which describes all different ice cream flavors. Usually if you want to use an example, we use 3 examples. So in this case, they gave 3 different flavors. Detail number 2, can you find it? So detail number 2 is sauces. So we have also, again, 3 different chocolate sauce, or sorry, 3 different sauce ideas, examples. And then can you find the final detail, the third detail? So detail number 3 is your toppings. And then they give you some examples of different toppings that you can use. So the final point, which is called the conclusion, is to restate your topic. Okay, so by the time people have gotten to the end of a paragraph, they may have forgotten what your original topic was, your original point. So our topic, one more time, is ice cream sundaes and how great they are. But the important point about the conclusion is that you use different words, different vocabulary words, because this shows that A, you have good vocabulary and you have good knowledge. You've been educated to provide different words for the same meanings, but also the conclusion is important to finish your major topic. So I'm moving on now to slide 20. So can you remember again what was our topic? And why were we talking about the topic? Did we want to show a positive about it or a negative? And can you think about the word that was chosen, the words that were chosen in the paragraph to show that feeling? And then one more time, I'd like you to think again about what the details were, the 3 different details, and what the conclusion was. So we don't need any writing at this point. This is all just thinking because I really want to provide you with brain food. So I'm moving on now to slide 21. So slide 21 gives you the answers to the questions that I just asked, just to check yourself and make sure that you are understanding what I'm talking about. So the topic, of course, was ice cream sundaes. And what were they talking about when they were talking about the paragraph? They were saying that the ingredients sundaes are delicious. They're wonderful. So again, detail number 1 was ice cream flavors. So they chose to focus on ice cream flavors, and then they gave some examples of those flavors. Detail number 2, again, was the sauces. And they also gave examples of the different sauces that could be used. Detail number 3 was the toppings. And the conclusion, again, was top with a cherry before you enjoy a wonderful sundae. Of course, we should have one more sentence for the conclusion, so it's not a perfect paragraph, but it was as close as I could find. So we finish it with perhaps a enjoy, or, what a wonderful, yummy finish to the day. Now, if you'll notice beside details 1, 2, and 3, I have a little star, an asterisk. So if you look at the bottom, you'll see why I put the asterisks there. What I want you to notice here is for details 1, 2, and 3, there were some special words used, which are called transition words, which helped you to find the details. So if you didn't notice them, go back to the original paragraph in slide 18 and see if you can find those words now. The words, just to make sure that everyone's clear, are to start, next, and as a final touch. So these are some examples of transition words, which are simple words we can use to show that we are going to talk, we're going to move to a different detail, and it's very, very clear for our readers, or if you're speaking, for your listeners, to see where you are in your presentation or in your paragraph. So I'm going to move on now to slide number 22. So the title for the slide is English Academic Basics, and I want to explain to you some different points about that paragraph. So the perfect ice cream sundae is a paragraph. Now there are 3 points that I want to bring your attention to, which I've discussed briefly before, but I want to add another one now. So at university level, a paragraph is 10 sentences or more, but in our case we're going to look at 10 sentences, and we're going to follow the pattern which we looked at in slide 19. Now, to add to that, we also need to add the title, which we've discussed, and we need the indent, which we also discussed, that little space to show that you're going to start. In typing, an indent is 4 spaces. My final point is to use a block or paragraph shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into my book here, and I'm going to point out that these are block-shaped paragraphs. So how can we see it's a block? Because when someone writes a sentence, the next sentence comes immediately after the period. So then when we move along, we keep going. Next period, the sentence starts after that period also. So if you follow this pattern, this style, we get this really nice block shape, which is also called paragraph shape. So just to be very clear about this, I'd like you to take a look at slide 23. So again, the title is Academic Writing Basics, and I've put the paragraph up for you again so that you can have a closer look at the shape of it. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Now, I'd also like you to notice that there are no broken words. So for example, if you look at where are we? 1, 2, 3, look at the 4th sentence. So the 4th sentence begins, some favorite flavors are chocolate, vanilla, and then there's quite a big space there. So some students would put strawberry in there, but because strawberry is so long, it's not wise to do that. Now, for young students, for elementary school students, I would let them break the words because they're very young. So we can let them be freer with their writing. But for our level, university level, you don't want to break words. Keep the word together, and if there's not a space on the upper line, just move it down to the next line. So this is a paragraph. Now this is 9 sentences, not 10, because our conclusion is only 1 sentence. But I think we could just add enjoy afterwards, which would complete the paragraph. So again, the 3 points I want to draw your attention to are, number 1, the title. Okay, so again, the title is in the center, and it's 5 words or less for a title, but it should focus on your topic and the feeling that you have about the topic. Also, you should capitalize the first letter of each of the words that you use, but for prepositions like in, on, under, you only need to capitalize them if they're first or last in the title. Number 2, I would like you to point, so if you click, you'll see the title. Number 2 is the indent. So again, the indent is necessary to start your paragraph to show you are starting a paragraph. So the spaces, usually when we're typing, you use 4 spaces to show the indent. Number 3 is the block shape. Okay, so essentially when you finish your first sentence and you have a period, the second sentence should start right after the period. And the same for your third sentence, fourth, fifth, sixth, and so on sentences. So your, in the end, you end up with a nice block shape. You should do. So your week 3 assignment, yay, is I would like you to write about one person that you like. Okay, or you can write about a band that you like, one thing that you like, but it should be about people. I would like you to write 10 sentences, and I would like you please to submit it to the GNUE website before Sunday, September 13th at 12 a.m. I would also like you please to follow what we have learned today in week 3, part 2. So follow the pattern from slide 19. You can go back and look through the PowerPoint yourself if you wish to. Remember, again, we're going to do 2 sentences. So we start with 2 sentences that introduce your topic. So who is the person or people that you have chosen, which band or group or something like that. And why do you like them? Is it a positive? Is it a negative? And remember that your paragraph should follow that feeling, should be throughout the paragraph. You shouldn't change in the middle. The second 2 sentences, so we're now moving on to, so step 1 and 2 are your introduction. 3 and 4, sentences 3 and 4 will introduce your detail number 1, and it will provide some information about that detail. The next 2 sentences, so we're now moving on to 5 and 6, give the second detail. So in your second detail, you choose to explain what the detail is and maybe give an example of why it's important. Sentences 7 and 8 will give detail 3 and why that's important. And then the last 2 sentences are your conclusion. So again, this is to restate using different words with the same meaning though, as much as possible, or you can change the sentence shape also. So one more time, who was it that you were talking about, and why do you like them? Why do you admire them? So please, please, please don't forget. Please choose a title that matches the feeling you're going to give, and it's centered, it's 5 words or less, it has capital letters for each of the words, and that it is about your topic. Also, please include, of course, your English style name and your student number under the title to the right. Okay, so in the assignment, I've set it up for you. I've given you the template. So all you need to do is go in and you can just erase the words that I've written and write your own in there. Also, please remember to include an indent, include the space at the beginning of the paragraph to show that you are beginning. Again, it's 4 spaces if you're typing. And please remember to make sure it's a block shape. So once you're finished writing your first sentence and you put in a period, the second sentence should start right after the period. Every sentence should start right after the period. So if you have 1 paragraph, you should only have 1 indent. And that's all. So I hope you have a fabulous week. Please stay safe and healthy. Stay away from busy areas if you can. Wash your hands. If you go anywhere that's busy and has a lot of people around, you should wash your hands regularly anyways. But do take care of yourselves and help your family stick together, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye. Have a lovely day.